I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Hunter, and this is
the Family Showdown! Hello and welcome back to another installation of my top 100 games of all time in 2021 edition. Me with my partner in crime, Hunter. So today we are going to talk about my number 80 through 71, which I think you're going to like. I think you're going to approve this list more than some of the others.
I will hold judgment until the end. But I did find it interesting that you said installation. It sounds like we're like the old data discs.
Yes.
Like
we're just cramming that knowledge in there, right in there. We're just like, yes, bring on board games.
Knowledge not to be crammed.
Okay, well, spoon feed Hunter some board games. Shall we begin? So, my number 80 has taken a ginormous leap.
Of faith?
Possibly. I'm not sure. I'm assuming it's because it used to be my 119. It's now my number 80, and I'm thinking it's because I really want to play it again, and we might actually get to do that.
Okay.
It's best at 3 or more players for obvious reasons, because it is Coliseum. This is a reprint of a game that has been around much longer.
Days of Wonder.
Yeah.
Many years ago.
Many years ago. We played it with the old game and was like, wow, this is really fun and really impossible to find because it was way out of print. And then this lovely thing happened. And so, of course, Hunter jumped on it and got it for us. What you're doing in this game is you are running the games for the Coliseum. So you're in charge of all of the public events. So you're a senator or important person that the rich people paid for entertainment. And what you're going to do is you need to get certain things to put your shows on. So if you're putting on a small show, you only need a few things like a horse or a plant. There's some random strange things that you have to collect. It's like a little set collection thing, or more like filling out a contract. You're fulfilling a contract for that. And you get a certain amount of victory points from hosting these things. Well, also, meanwhile, you're going around this you have this track on the board and you have your Coliseum on this track. And there's some senators and the emperor himself is taking the rounds, and you want them to stop in your Coliseum as you're performing, because if that happens, then you get all sorts of mad extra bonus points. Plus, you can do things to spend, money and whatnot to expand Coliseum, make it bigger so you can have more people watching. You can add cool things like better seats and stuff like that. You're rolling the dice to move the people around so you can mess with other players as well. Maybe it doesn't benefit you to move somebody in, but you see that there's somebody that's going to give some mad points to someone on the other side. So you're like, oh, I think I'll move the emperor this time. Ha 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 ha. And there's also this trade factor. That's one of the reasons this is better at 3 players.
No, it's 3 minimum.
Yeah, 3 minimum.
Yeah.
Is you're trading to get some of these ingredients. There's kind of a pool in the center, but everybody can get some stuff from, but it's pretty limited. You do have to rely somewhat on trading back and forth. Otherwise, it takes a lot longer to get through the game. And it's really fun and engaging doing the trade section of this. And you're wheeling and dealing I keep calling them ingredients, but I mean, I don't know what you would call the collection of like weapons and a horse and a plant and accoutrement. Yeah. And then, but it's just a fun, silly kind of race game. And what I like too about this is the scoring's really unique. You don't just keep like, okay, I put on a small play, so I gained 5 points, and then I put on a bigger play, and that's 15 points. You don't add those 2 scores together, you get 15 points. You only score your highest performance. So the goal of the game is to go get those really big, delicious looking monster performances that the crowds are going to go wild over, and hopefully the emperor visits when that happens, and the world explodes, and you get 80 victory points. That'd be really cool. You're hoping for that. But if that kind of fizzles or someone snipes some important ingredients from you, you may have your second highest one be your highest score. You never know. I mean, the fates may not be kind to you. So it's just super fun. Love this game. I like the unique scoring with it. Huzzah. What do you think?
This
I know
was
you like
like
this one.
for the longest time. This was like our convention game.
Yeah, because
Like
we
every
just only
convention
could
we
find
go,
it.
we always ended up playing this game because
We didn't have it. Yeah.
We didn't have it, and B, it takes it's best with more players. I mean, it plays good at 3, but 5 is great because
great.
you have
It's
a lot
so
more
much-
interaction
so
of
much-
trading interaction
Yeah.
going on and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Which is a lot of trading games are that way. You want to have more
It's
players
true.
involved. But yeah, this is a great one. This is a fun one. It plays really, really well. There's lots of different like little things you can do. But the trading is the meat of the.
Oh yeah, and it's fun. The rounds are really smooth with it too. Like
Yep.
okay, you do this. Everybody does their thing. I love it.
It plays fast. It's like an hour and a half game.
Mm-hmm.
So good one. Haven't played this one in a while.
No, we haven't.
For
6
reasons.
times.
For reasons.
Yep. You teach Nessa how to play Coliseum. All right, so my number 79 is another one that took a nice leap. It used to be my 100 last year. Do you remember that? Here's some trivia for you. I certainly didn't.
What was your 100 last time?
My 100 last time was
I don't remember.
Tokaido. Tokaido had another play of it. Play or two, actually.
Yep.
It was a lot of fun. Played it, kiddo and the boyfriend. Dun, dun, dun. No, it was really fun too to play this once again, to get to play the game. And it's actually one I don't mind teaching because I know it inside and out. The whole family loves this game and it just has that certain appeal. And it's really funny because this can be one of the most cutthroat games, and yet everyone in the family likes this. This does not fit the mold. This doesn't, the kiddos should not like this game, as cutthroat as it is, but they love it. And it's fun because you're going through and you're walking and you're taking this little journey, and you stop at like 3 hotels along the way. But before you do that, you've got things that you get to do. You get to go visit the temple and you can donate money to them, or you can go and chat with a monk or somebody and you get goods and stuff. And there's a market and you can buy goods, and there's paintings and you can paint parts of the pictures, and there's small paintings and there's medium paintings, and then there's this really like 5-piece painting that you can put together, and you get lots of victory points for that. And there's a race factor for that. If you're the first person to finish one of those, you get extra chunk of victory points. There's all these little point salad-y ways to get things. You stop at the hotel and then you get to have a delicious meal that you can purchase. And those have a special amount of victory points attached to those. But the track is really insidious, like just cutthroat. There's only a certain number of stops that you can have. So there may be only one spot where you can go visit the temple. If someone's there, you don't get to go there. Also, if you decide to jump way ahead, there's no backtracking. So once you move forward, there's no turning back. You are continuing on your journey. So you need to do a lot of strategizing. Do I really want to put together that big painting? Or do I just want to go visit the monkeys that are in the hot tubs all the time and get some,
Who
victory
wouldn't want to
points?
visit the monkeys in the hot tub?
I know, right? It sounds kind of chill. So
I would think it'd be the hot springs.
is it the hot springs? The picture looks like a hot tub, okay? There's monkeys in a hot tub.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
It is cutthroat, but what's nice about this game is like, oh, I really want to go to the temple. Oh, I can't go to the temple. Well, there's these 4 other things.
Oh,
I can
yeah,
do
it's
that-
all good choices, right?
Yeah.
It really is.
So it's very chill. It's a lot of people say this is like one of the most chill games. You just
It's like the
move
most
your
chill,
thing, you do
cutthroat.
something, you move your thing, do something.
Yeah.
You're just moving along.
But you can cut people off and keep them from doing stuff.
Yeah, but
It's just
I can understand if it's like you just get brutalized if you don't get to go to the
True.
spot.
Okay,
but
okay,
You get, there's
true,
like, you can get
true.
you always get good stuff. Some are probably slightly better for you if you can go to them. But yeah, you're right. For whatever the reason, the kids never, when they get blocked, they're like,
Yeah, usually, they would
they're just like,
have a
oh, I'll
hissy.
just go here instead.
Yeah.
I'm like, I do not know
we
these
were,
children.
We were a bit stunned when this happened. It still kind of shocked us,
But it's a great family game. If you play just the base game, super easy to teach. There's several expansions that add more and more stuff, which aren't that super hard to teach either.
No, they're not, because most of it's like there's asymmetrical players. So you get your little player and everybody has their cool little superpower, and the expansions always add more to that.
Right.
So there's always like really nice choices now of all these different superpowers that you can have.
Right.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
So there you go. That is Tokaido, peeps. Okay. My next one took a little bit of a dive, I think, because I had some nostalgia for it last year at 54. It's now my 78. I think it needs to get played again. I think that's why I got all nostalgic for it, and then we haven't played it. We haven't had a chance to. And that is 5 Tribes, or if you're a Brothers Murph fan, Five Tribes.
Thief Trees.
Thief Trees.
We haven't
We
played
have not played this.
Tribes in a while.
A long time now.
Yeah.
This game is the game of over 1,000 choices. Hunter did an episode of this actually, where he calculated how many possible moves an average game would have in the first turn. This is analysis paralysis, the game. If you let yourself look at all the possibilities, of which there are actually over 1,000, you will never play the game. You will sit there and stare at it forever. So what we decided, we heard about that, and we hesitated to play it for a while. And then we decided, okay, we're going to make a pact. You take the first good-looking move and go with it, except for the last turn. No,
the last few turns, because you don't have as many choices.
True.
As the game goes by.
We said, well, no analysis paralysis, you just move. And the game worked. As long as we decide ahead of time that that's what we're going to do.
I can see someone who has analysis paralysis literally going through every
iteration.
It would take a long time to look at every play.
And here's
that you
why.
have on your first turn.
All the tiles have certain things that you can do associated with them. Plus, depending on the randomized meeples that are chucked on them, there are 3 on each. 3 on each at the beginning of the game. They're of random colors. Depending on the color, you get to do something that's also unique.
Yeah, and plus, also based on how many of that color is in your landing spot, you get the more powerful action.
Exactly. So I mean, there's 3 really major factors you have to think of that it can help your turn just pop, right? Well, of course, then
you're scared. I think we're scaring everyone off.
I know, right? But if you tell yourself no analysis paralysis, you can have so much fun with this because of the many choices, because you're never going to have a game that's even remotely like another one.
Well, what we kind of tend to do is like, okay, I want to do this thing. Okay, so
let's try it.
It takes green meeples. Oh, there's a lot of green meeples there. Where do I want to take those green meeples? Over here. Done. Yeah. Next turn.
That's really what you want to do. What's neat about that too is there's also these djinns that give you superpowers and stuff, and they're all really super unique. It feels like you're breaking the game almost. You've got cards that let you do stuff. There's different resources, and there's also these things like you can put down palaces and palm trees to give you a bunch of extra victory points if you have control over it at the end of the game. Lots of cool stuff. There's even an expansion or 2 for this.
Yeah, we haven't got any.
We like the base game so much, and there's so much to the base game. We've never bothered with it. Just wow, it's so cool. There's also a fun little factor of how to start the turn order. The turn order changes
the bidding.
With the bidding.
You bid for turn order.
So there's a little bit of, there's a whole bunch of different ways you can mix this up. If you see something you really, really want, then you're going to fight to get your turn order so that somebody doesn't mess up your possible action that you want to do. Because you can find ways to chain all sorts of great stuff with this game. Really, really fun game. I really love the djinns and their superpowers, especially. I think that's what really sells me on this game, is just all the different possibilities, all these things that you can tweak all of these different actions with. A lot of fun.
It's a good one.
It's another one that's in the sweet spot too, isn't it? Yeah, it says 40 to 80 minutes. It's probably an hour.
Depends on how recently we played it, but yeah, it's about an hour for us.
Yeah.
Or less.
Yeah. Again, as long as you don't go crazy and overthink it.
Yep.
This is the game of do not overthink.
I tend to. She kind of gives me the stink eye towards the end because I tend to overthink.
He pushes
the
that
last couple of turns. I kind of go, okay, what's my best move? So,
yep.
I get in trouble because we're not supposed to do that.
That's right. Breaking our pact. Hello. Okay. So my number 77 was my 93. Wow, it's gone up. I think
a little bit.
I think because lately I played a bunch of games. And that were kind of similar-esque, and it reminded me of how much I just love this game. And I'm ready to play it again. It's just simple, smooth play, and that is Finka.
Gosh, I can't remember the last time I played this.
Yeah, you haven't played it a lot because the girls, a lot of times this was like, for a while, this was the girls, let's just play this game. And so if you were working or something, they would actually ask to play this game out of the blue for the longest time. We fell in love with it. We played it randomly at, I think, Dice Tower Con, and you weren't at that either. So we played the tar out of it.
Yeah, you probably played this like a ton of times. I think I've played this one time.
Once or twice, yeah. Only a couple times. And it's not anything like earth-shattering or anything like that, but it's a lot of fun. You've got a map, and on the map are different regions, and they all have little like fruit contracts. They want different kinds of goods on them to fulfill those contracts. And once you get through the stack, you can claim the land. but all of the contracts are also victory points and stuff. What's really fun and unique about the game is it's got beautiful, bright painted wooden bits that are really fun to mess with all the fruit shapes and stuff. But B, it's got it looks like almost like a windmill, and it's randomized, and you have all the different fruits placed around it, and you're going to walk based off of the fruits that are sitting there. You're going to walk that many steps. So that's how your turn is based, which kind of reminds me of something like a Stefan Feld game would have for movement purposes. But you can collect, and wherever you land, how many fruits are there is how many fruits you're going to get. So you use the fruits that are on there for 2 different purposes while you're moving, which is really cool. And you're just collecting all the stuff. And of course, you do have a little bit of a limit. So you got to, manage the resources, make sure you go and be efficient when you're fulfilling your contracts. You want to try to get those through. You want to try to do this. So there's a little bit of area control, resource management, contract fulfillment, really cool movement system. And then you've got these little donkeys that help you break the game a little bit and make it easier for you. You have to use them to deliver goods, and they help with other things. And it's just cute. I pretty much taught you the game. I mean, it's really not that difficult of a game. Here are look at these fun little bits. They're super bright colored. They're in vague shapes of the fruit for the most part, sort of. Ish. Which makes it kind of fun. I mean, if you played this a lot, it'd be kind of cute to bling it out even more, I'm sure, but it's totally unnecessary. They're nice, big, chunky bits, bright, super pretty game. And this is another one I think is like an hour long.
45 minutes.
45 minutes? Okay, yeah. And the hour long if you're playing with kiddos or something that takes a little bit longer.
So my one comment about this game is this game makes me feel like Gandalf. I have no memory of this place.
I was like,
I know nothing.
I was waiting for what Gandalf.
I don't remember anything about this game. I played it a couple times, and it's been a long time since I played it.
And part of it,
I just remember the clunky fruit. I remember the little windmill thing, and I remember the little donkeys. That's all I remember about this game.
Well, again, it wasn't anything that was like earth-shattering and just like totally innovative game or anything like that. We have games that do this as a part of the game, and stuff. So I don't see that this would jump out at you, but it just has, again, it pulled out just those elements and it stuck to that. So it's kind of fun. I don't know. I enjoy sometimes just sitting back and using some of those elements that are in our big, heavy games. And it felt like this is just a piece of some of those heavy games pulled back with some fun bits.
This is also an extremely rare game. This is probably one of the few games in our collection where I have not read the rule book.
You have not?
No, you taught it to me.
Oh, that's true.
I've never read the rule book to this game.
Oh, that's so true.
I can't say that about very many of the games in our collection.
No, that's true.
I've never read
that.
That's why I don't have any recollection, because I haven't read the rules to it. It was taught to me.
There you go.
There you go.
Need to play it again.
It's an amazing game.
That Hunter doesn't remember. That's too funny. Yeah, I love Finka. I think it's pretty hard to find these days too.
It's an older game. It went out of print quickly. They did a Kickstarter reprint and then went out of print again. It was just like, it's like available, not available, and that's its history.
Yep. Okay. Interesting. All right. So my number 76 was my number 74 last year. So I think this is where it's here to stay, because I'm pretty sure the year before it was kind of in the same area too. I don't know what it is. I absolutely love this game though, and that's Paper Tales. This, you guys know, I like card games. I really like card games. And this has a really quick turnaround you've got like 3 eras or something. You only go through 3 rounds, 3 or 4 rounds. It's not very many rounds. And it's all about the card combos and working the card combos. And then you've got a row of, your front row is the people that are going to go into battle, and the back row, sometimes they have special abilities that'll let them help fight with the front row people, but they usually pump up the people in the front row or give you cool resources and all these different things. And you're also drafting these cards each round, and you're tweaking your deck each round, and then you have some buildings that you can build on the side that'll let you put more cards out or give you extra boosts or resources. And I like there's a time element to it, so that after a certain number of rounds, cards can't be there anymore. It's like they age and die, sort of. It actually sounds more complicated than it is. It's one of those games that honestly I think it needed the expansion, because if you play it handful of times, you already start to see the combinations because there weren't a huge variety of cards. And there's only a very scant number of buildings that you can build. So decks can feel samey, and you can see people already super gaming it. Because if you teach it to somebody new, you will destroy them because you know the card combos are there because there's not that many. But we got the expansion with it, and it really killed that problem. It like more than doubled, I think, the number of buildings that you can build. There's so many different cards and card combos now. It tweaks some things. Oh, it's just solid, and I love the card play in it. It was fun to discover as you're playing it more and more, start discovering more and more of the different combinations, trying out different. I still haven't played through it enough to be really familiar with all the stuff with the expansion. It'd be, it's fun to discover, hey, I want to try building this building and see what I can do with it, or things like that. Simple little game. It's actually pretty easy to teach. I've taught this one. This is another one that I've taught a lot to people.
Maybe this is the games you can teach section.
It kind of almost is, yeah. Because I've taught Tokaido, I've taught Finka, I've taught Paper Tales. That's very true. I'm trying to
spoil your list.
I'm not going to spoil my list. Nah, I don't think I've taught the other ones. But still, for me, that's a lot of games. I don't like to teach games, and I like teaching this one too.
Yeah, this one's fun. It's not really in my wheelhouse in terms of games I like, but I enjoy it. I mean, it's very combo-tastic. I mean, it's all about getting the combos and building buildings and getting points. But yeah, if you play, we played it a few times with experienced players, and they just like got these crazy combos and got insane points. We're like,
it's like, whoa, you can do that in this game?
If you're familiar with the game and you just play the base game, you see a card come out, you're like, I want to grab that card. Yeah, and then you know which card you need to get to go with it, right? So you start to learn which cards work together. Yeah. And like you said, adding the expansion throws more into the mix.
Well, I think it evens the playing field for new players.
A little bit, but still, I think an experienced player is going to do really well at this game.
But that's a lot of card games, too. It just depends on the game, but this does have that sort of issue. So keep that in mind when you teach new players it, but it's so much fun. I really like this one. This is another 30-minute game. I mean, it's another one you can crack out.
It's done before you start.
Almost. It feels like that, but you do so many combos and stuff. Like, I feel like it feels like an hour game, and it's not. I always have to look at that and go, 30 minutes? Oh yeah. It's good. So that is Paper Tales. So my next up on La Lista.
On to the next page.
I am. My number 75. It's dropped a bit. It was my 47 last year. I think it's because we haven't played it, and oh my goodness, the games that we've played and stuff, and I think my taste has kind of shifted a little bit this year.
Yeah.
Obviously I still absolutely love this game, and that is Race for the Galaxy. Another card game in a same shape, size box. I don't know what it is with that. It's magical. Whew, but this game is a little bit longer. How long does this one play?
No, it's not that long.
Oh, it is 30 to 60 minutes. Gosh, see, this is another one that feels to me like it's a longer game than it is because it's got a lot of game to it. Same kind of situation. You're going through and you're building up great card combinations and stuff, building up an engine. This time, though, your stuff that you purchase stays, and you're going to have two different types. You've got your planets, and you can produce goods and sell goods from them. And then you've got like machinery and technology stuff that you can build up, and that gives you victory points and whatnot. So you're going through, and obviously the object of the game is to be the first person there's like a pool, depending on the number of players, of victory point chips. And the point is to deplete that, and that's what causes the end of the game. So you obviously want to race everyone to get all the good victory points. There's different types and sizes of technology and planets, and some of them are really cheap and easy to get out. And so you're like, boom, 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 flying through it. But they don't give you a lot of victory points. Or you might want to save up and work a little bit, get some of these big ones, and just take a ton out of the pool. Right? I just love it. There's drafting and management and all this good stuff. And it's a space theme again. I like space. It's just all the good stuff. Do you like this? Do you like this? You like this one not quite as much as Roll for the Galaxy. Though,
That's right. And I like this game. It's good. I keep trying to convince myself I don't like it, but then when we play it, I actually enjoy it quite a bit. It's one of those like I want to not like it, but I enjoy it a lot. I like the way the action selection kind of works, where you're kind of picking different actions and stuff like that, and you kind of got to play a game of
what are they? Yeah, what are you going to pick?
Yeah, you try to outthink your opponent. Like, oh well, I think she's going to pick this one thing, And I want to do that, but I want to do this other thing too. So I'll pick this other thing. And then she ends up picking something else. I'm like, I wanted to do
I know, I didn't even mention that. That's one thing I love about it too, is you have a set of actions, say 6, 7 actions or whatever. You get to pick from them. Well, here's the thing. You only get to do one of them.
But you only get to pick
You
one.
only get to pick one of them. And like you said, you want to piggyback off of other people, because if you have the stuff and they said, oh, I want to produce goods this turn, you get to do it too, to a lesser extent. So he'll get to pick an action too, and I can possibly piggyback off of his to a lesser extent. So you sort of want to try to get in everybody's head and look at what they're playing and be like, oh, they're definitely doing some kind of trade with goods. So you want to watch when they're doing that and piggyback off of it. Or if it looks like they're really just cranking out tech, you might want to save aside some of the, the resources to buy stuff. It's so good. It's so fun to pick those turns.
Yeah.
I love that. Because it's not, you don't just go down like every other game, you checklist, okay, now we do this, then we do this. Nope. It's only what everybody picks for that round. So it's a good game. Goes fast. Goes really fast.
Yep.
Race for the galaxy. All right. So now, this is a game, you're going to be so delighted. This was my 105. 105.
It was garbage last year.
No, hardly. But it jumped up to my 74. Did we get a play-in of this? You'll have to refresh my memory. I think we did. I think that's what did it, is we got another play of Reavers of Midgard.
I think we did
play this
recently.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was requested by a person in our game group to try it out, and we played it very recently.
Yes, okay. And that would explain why it took a leap, because I'd kind of forgotten that this is what I wanted Champions of Midgard to be. It's one of his favorite games. But Champions, for whatever reason, the dice hate me in that game typically. Unless we play with the whole shebang and all the expansions and stuff where it mitigates the crappy dice rolls, I really struggle in that game. I don't know what it is. This one doesn't seem to have that problem with me, and it does similar things. It's got a cool monster board. You have cool specialty dice that represent the different types of warriors, and you're going out and you have your ship and you're sailing off to go fight the baddies, and it's got a lot of the similar stuff to it. But they streamlined some of the things. They made the dice a little bit friendlier, or they feel friendlier to me.
When you do the dice combat in Champions, it's just you roll and hope.
Yeah, that's true.
You can use glory to reroll and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but this one,
you
can either do that, or you can just get like a set collection of dice.
That's true, and just win
automatic. And win.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You win automatically.
I forgot about that. That's what it was.
Like you need three or four different kinds of dice, and if you have those, you just win automatically. Or you can use combat dice and actually fight. It's your choice.
Yeah, so that's right. That I was like, why was that? It's so much better when you're like, okay, not feeling good. Like some of the people that are needed to fight one of those, maybe those don't have a lot of success rolls on them. I'll probably choose to fit exactly what is requested there to fulfill that one instead of trying to roll and hope for the best, because my hopes had not been doing so well on some of those. But it seems like it's easier to get some of the resources too in this one a little bit. You can really struggle in Champions sometimes. And
this one's a lot more.
It's really streamlined.
Yeah,
that's
more
what it
like
is.
a Euro game than
is.
Champion. Champion is a true hybrid. This one's kind of leaning more
towards Europe. Yep.
Europe. More towards Europe.
More towards Europe.
You're funny. but we gotta talk. Let's pause.
Oh no!
We're gonna pause a second.
Oh no!
I don't know why you're convinced you roll bad in games.
Oh no! Not this again.
You
and
rolled
not all games.
The last 3 or 4 dice chucker type games we played. You just annihilated me.
There are some games where I do fine, but then there's
the dice don't change when you play different games.
Yes, they do. Champions dice hate me.
I swear we're gonna do it at Champions.
That's fine.
And I'm gonna mark how many average, above average, and below average roll you have throughout the game.
Well, then you're watching it. It's like quantum physics. You're watching it, and it's not gonna happen.
Schrodinger's cat or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. Now you're getting there. If you're observing it. Okay. Anyway, so Reavers of Midgard. Yes, if you want a nice big meaty game.
I do love this one.
With Euro vibes, but still attacking monsters and cool dice and lots of cool options for the worker placement aspect. Ugh, Really good.
It
Really good.
pales in comparison to Champions. Then.
Well, yeah, if you have Champions with all the expansions and all that nonsense and the insane player mat.
Yeah, so I
Maybe.
expect to see it higher up on your list,
Maybe.
right? Champions higher on your list? Higher? Maybe?
Spoilers.
I like it in your top 200 this time at least.
It is, I think.
No.
I'll look for you if you want.
No.
He doesn't want to know.
Stay on point. Stay on target.
Oh, boy. So my next one, this is another one you're going to be so happy about. This
I'm happy. We're in the 70s. I'll be happy we're in the top 10.
Well, considering that this was my 181 last year, and now it's my 73, I think you're going to be really happy with this.
We went up over 100 places.
Well, here's the thing.
That's
We played it
insane.
one time. I'm like 99.9% sure right before I made my list. And then we've gotten more plays in. And now I'm like, okay, you've converted me. You've converted me to like it. It's the beast that is City of
way
Big
too low.
Shoulders.
Wait.
You're lucky it's on my list. You know how it is.
I'm lucky.
It's a stock game.
Dear, thank you so much for putting this on your list. It makes me so happy.
So, City of the Big Shoulders is not usually my cup of tea kind of game. Yes, I like heavy games, but this is like
a whole crate of tea.
Market. Yeah, this is a crate of tea. This is the Boston Tea Party up in here. It's okay. So if you know what 18xx games are, you've got the companies and with your trains and all this stuff, and then you also have like your personal money and your company money and this and that. This is an 18xx game without the train aspect. It's just working the companies and your goods. So there's this stock market interplay going on, and you're learning how to do that, but you're also learning how to manage company money versus your money. So this is one of those games that's fantastic. I think if you want to get into 18xx, but you don't know how the money stuff works, for me, this was cool playing this because it like helped my brain get that, like how that all works before I jumped into 18xx and had to do that monetary stock aspect and handle the trains at the same time. That would have been too much, I think. This was so nice to just jump in and learn how the mechanics work for the game. And Hunter's going to show it off because he loves his baby.
No, I was going to say.
Chicago. Oh, you're going to read this?
Hog butcher for the world. Tool maker. Stacker of wheat.
Yeah, it's based off, the weird name is because it's based off of a poem about Chicago, obviously, that is stormy and husky and brawling.
So let's all join with me in the love I have for the way she says poem.
Why do you like that so much?
It seems so official. It's like if I said spreadsheet a weird way because I'm really good at spreadsheets.
I'm not good at poems though. What is
spreadsheeta?
What is happening here? I don't even know anymore.
So yeah, this is like a 18xx. You take the trains and throw them out the window, and you throw in a heavy Euro worker placement game on top of it.
And that's what I mean. It's worker placement. I think that's what saves it a lot too, because it's worker placement.
It's a heavy worker
Euro,
placement game with 18xx vibes.
Yeah, it sneaks all that stuff in there at you, and it's like, aha, tricked you. You might as well play 18xx now, and you're like, oh, you got me.
But I will say this. This is one of my all-time favorite games. We'll talk about it when we do my list.
Mm-hmm.
This can be, like all 18xx games, this also has the mean.
Yes, it can.
It can be brutally mean.
Yes.
It can be.
Yes.
And normally when I play it, it's not mean. I recently had a recent play where I got like kicked and thrown down the stairs.
I didn't do it.
No, recently.
I was like... Oh, at BGG you played it?
BGG, I
that's
played it.
Funny. I didn't realize this was
They beat me up. They threw me down the stairs. They dragged me behind a car. They threw me in a dumpster and set the dumpster on fire. That's how bad they beat me up in the thing.
You can undercut people crazy. It can get crazy cutthroat. We don't tend to play that way.
No, I don't tend to play that way, but it can be that way.
Yeah, so heads up on that. This is a mean Euro.
It is not.
Mean.
I wouldn't call it a Euro game. It has Euro aspects. It has worker placement, but it's very much a mean, cutthroat game.
Or you could just be nice.
It Could be nice.
And still beat the snot out of people and be nice, but you don't have to undercut them.
But it is a big beast. It's a long game. It is a hard game to teach. It is crazy, great, and amazing.
That's true.
So I love it. It's one of my favorite games ever.
Is it stormy and husky and brawling? Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Where is it?
Player with railroads and the nation's freight handler. Stormy, husky, brawling. City of the big shoulders.
The end.
No, not the end.
I know, that's just
if you have, I don't know if it's in all the editions of the game, but the poem. The poem is throughout the entire cover of the game.
I'm watching you. I'm watching you.
Love it. I'm glad it's on your list. It makes me proud.
Yes, you converted me.
It gives me the feels.
Does it?
It makes it hits me in the feels.
Just even though there's no train, it just went off the rails. I don't know. So anyway, my next game,
which is my
number 72.
Oh, almost there.
It's dropped from 49, and that's because it's kind of like in the same boat as legacy games for me. This is one of those things where it's a one and done. Until there's more expansions, blah, blah, blah. And so
there are more expansions.
There are. We haven't had a chance to play it in a long time. Eventually we'll get to play the expansion, I'm sure. But that is Detective, a modern crime board game. Don't own this game, actually. The nefarious Tommy owns this game.
Nefarious?
Yes.
Notorious.
Very much so. So once upon a time, we started to play this game, and we played the first game of it, had a ball, and then COVID hit. So then we didn't play it for months and months, and then we're like, you know what? I had the game. Tommy had all the electronic doodads and stuff because you have a computer and you connect online and you go to actual websites and stuff too. It's really neat how it interplays with reality and history and stuff like that. And so we did a massive Zoom call detective game event and finished off the game online. Yeah, we nerded out, man. It was great. We had so much fun with it. And despite having to do that by distance, I just ran the board and we discussed and did everything online, and he looked up everything. We chit-chatted and discussed, and it was amazing. So you are the detectives trying to solve this case that I don't want to spoil anything for you, but it's very involved and has multiple stages to it. Let's just put it that way. And so you're going through and solving little tidbits of it and eventually solve basically this whole series of events and how it goes down.
Is it a series of unfortunate?
No, well, depends on who you're talking to, which end of this you're talking about, right? And it's just amazing because you follow leads, but if you go to follow certain leads, you have to go to the lab, for example, you have to drive over there. So that's going to take an hour of your time. So it has time chunks for you to do all the different things in the different buildings and whatnot. And you only have a certain number of, like, some of them say you have to do this within 5 days or 3 days, or you must do this today. A life is on the line or something. It could be anything in between. So you have to time everything out and pick and choose when you want to go to different buildings because that eats up more time. You can decide to follow leads further. Sometimes you'll interview somebody and you're like, do you want to follow a hunch and keep talking to them, or do you want to trace whatever thing they first just talked about? So it has branches off just in all these different directions of different leads that you can follow. Some of them are red herrings, of course. Sometimes people lie. It's just like following a real case. Sometimes they're like, well, this and such happened. If you want to learn more about this, research, blah, 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 blah. And they'll take you to a website, or they'll say, find the location of this on, and you can go to Google Maps and find out what's at this location. So cool. It's so interactive. It just melts your brain melty goodness. A lot of great conversations around this. Hours and hours. Each gameplay was a couple hours minimum to go through, and we played 4, I want to say. It was fantastic. So really, really want a good experience that'll take a lot of time. I highly recommend Detective. Absolutely loved it. Can't wait to play the expansion.
Yeah, I didn't play the game with them. I bowed out because cooperative. But I did play one-shot scenario at a con, and I really enjoyed it.
You loved that, yeah.
I enjoyed it quite a bit, but it's just not my thing. So I let them have their fun.
Oh, we had a ball. We had a ball with it.
I played a video game or something, whatever.
Yeah, you missed out entirely. Oh, it was fantastic. I mean, you just feel so good.
They're like,
well, yeah, because you feel so good. You also have degrees to how well you solve the case and stuff too. Because if you find out certain things, it might lead into some extra clues later on down the line. Because, like I said, everything happened to be all involved overall, and I am not going to explain that further. But it's just, oh, it's so good. So if you start to figure out more clues about this, it's going to help you, and then you get a higher score at the end and stuff too. Which you can just straight up solve the case, or you can solve the case well, if you know what I mean. It's just really, it felt so good to go, yes, we cracked it at the end. Good game.
Sounds good.
All right, and last but not least, my number 71. It's new to the list.
Well, here, before you go any further, this breaks your code.
My code?
Your one play code.
It does. It left that good of an impression.
Oh, did it? So it's that amazing. Let's hear it.
It is, actually.
She usually punitates one plays.
I do. And I must say that after playing Last Will, oh my gosh, this game. So this breaks all of the rules of most board games. Most board games, you're trying to earn money and get your way up to the fame and riches. This game throws all that out the window. You have a super rich uncle or relative, and they kick the bucket. And in their will, they said, hey, whoever, I was a miser and misspent my life, and now I want you not to have the same problems that I have and miss out on life. So I'm going to give you a chunk of money, and then whoever spends their chunk of money the craziest, the fastest, they're going to get all of my fortune. And so there you go. They give you a chunk of money. You start with this, and you're supposed to just plunder, pillage. It's crazy. You want to go out. Okay, not quite. But you're going to go to a nice restaurant. Well, you better hire an expensive carriage or limo or something, and then you're going to get the best restaurant in town, and you're going to pay for a special waiter, and you're going to want this cool eccentric chef. You want to just go all out with all this stuff. You want to buy somebody a gift. Well, it's not just going to be a gift now. It's going to be a pony. And then they need a pasture to put it in. Yeah, I mean, you just go crazy with all this stuff, and you're trying to spend money. And oddly enough, it's harder than you think sometimes to go out and spend this money. I love the mechanisms in this game and how you go around turn for turn. It's worker placement, so you're trying to snipe really expensive specialty things, items and people and jobs and stuff from everybody else, because we're all trying to wheel and deal and spend our money the fastest. It's just not like anything else that you're going to play. We played the Prodigals Club a long time ago, and this is very similar to that. It was at a DGM. It was at our little local con, and I always wanted to play this. And this game, oh my goodness, it's so ridiculous. It's very much like that, and I love you also your resource. I guess you'd call it resource management. I don't know what you would call this, your crazy spending management, because you also can only have a certain amount of stuff out at a time. So you want to combo up some good stuff, right?
Stuff that makes things cost more and things like that.
Yeah, extra, I say bonuses, but really it's like extra fees and things like that. Right. So, it's fantastic, because anytime you go anywhere, like you can have the carriage. So if you're traveling, the carriage will cost an extra $5 or something crazy, right? So you might want to keep that because it goes for multiple events. But that specialty chef, if you eat at your house, he's $10. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this game a lot.
Yeah, it's got a lot. There's a lot of different ways that you can do. I mean, there's a whole, she didn't even mention, there's a whole buying houses.
Oh, yeah.
And you want them to depreciate, or you want to buy a house and then sell it like super cheap. You want to spend like a ton of money on the house and then sell it for
cheap,
nothing.
So you don't get money back.
But do you keep it for a while and let it depreciate first and things like that? It's got...
Because you can spend money while it's there with you, doing like upkeeping it for renters or something. It's interesting.
Yeah, so, it's a cool little game. It's fun. It's basically Brewster's Millions, the game.
There you go.
It's almost, if you've seen the movie,
a nice old school reference there.
It's almost basically that movie where you try to spend all your money and then you get like a ton of money if you spend it all. Anyway, this is a fun one. I'm kind of surprised that rocketed up your list, but we did have a great first play of this game.
That was fantastic.
So,
Well, and it was I feel like too with Prodigals, we already kind of had a similar sort of game, so I think we understood this game really well.
Right.
And I like games with themes like this. I like the networks and all these other games that have like real life, like here's something you can kind of do to tweak stuff and how you can do things, and it's just silly fun.
It's a good one.
And that is my 71. That's my last one on this particular list today, peeps. So if you enjoyed that and want to see more, stay tuned for our next installment, as it were, where I will talk about my 70 through 61. Will the games get cooler? Heck yeah, even cooler than these. See you soon. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Click subscribe to join our wonderful viewer community.
Want to be notified when we upload a new video or go live? Click on the little bell below.